Hey, welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you're doing well. So today we are going to be discussing some Rolex Datejust alternatives. We did a video on alternative watches to the Rolex Submariner, which was relatively helpful for the people who ended up watching it. Got a lot of great feedback from that video, so decided to do the Rolex Datejust as it is another watch that a lot of people enjoy wearing. As you probably know, the Rolex Datejust kind of within the collector's community is considered one of the best watches of all time. It definitely is the most versatile. You can dress it up, dress it down. It's a great size and is a watch that a lot of people are looking to purchase to add to their collection, or perhaps be their one watch that they end up wearing for the duration of their collecting years. So I thought I would come up with a couple of alternatives, being that perhaps you want something a little bit different than a Rolex Datejust so you don't blend in with the crowd, or perhaps you are saving money but can't quite make it to that Rolex Datejust kind of price point. I'll throw out some suggestions that are equally as great compared to the Rolex Datejust. There are a couple of stipulations that I put on the alternatives that I chose. The first is it has to have similar functionality as the Rolex Datejust, that being a date function as well as a time. The time, which is pretty simple and self-explanatory, but also has to have similar characteristics as the Rolex Datejust. Not really a homage, but it's really its own thing. So things like water resistance, being that, you know, the Rolex Datejust has an Oyster case, so water resistance, versatility with ways in which you can wear it. You can mix and match straps with it. Those are the types of things that I kind of look for when picking these 6 watches. So let's dive right into it. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, and I say it every video, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help us out with the YouTube algorithm, as well as if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon so you're notified when we upload videos. It really does help us out, and you can join the Life on the Wrist family, which of course is the best family on YouTube. So the first watch, and it probably comes as no surprise, that is the Tudor Prince Oysterdate. This watch, Tudor is obviously a sister company from Rolex and make very, very similar watches. You could say that this is a copy of the Rolex Datejust, but I think it's its own thing, especially being that it's coming from Tudor, which really is coming into its own. Obviously, it has the similar water resistance to the Rolex Datejust. It has very similar design elements. You can get it in fluted bezels. You can get it with a smooth bezel, but what's really great about the Tudor Prince Oysterdate is the fact that it is substantially cheaper than the Rolex Datejust, so you can save a little money there, but at the same time have the Rolex Datejust fun that you can have. You can really mix and match straps with the Tudor Oysterdate. You can wear it for formal events, but you can also wear it as an everyday wear. If you are interested in the vintage side of things, the Rolex Datejust, you know, references that from the vintage lines like 1601, 1600, 1603. Those you can actually find you can find Tudor Prince Oysterdate in the vintage market as well for very reasonable prices compared to vintage Datejust. So that's another opportunity that you can explore. They'll probably come with ETA movements, but it's still a wonderful piece that you can pick up. So the first pick is a Tudor Prince Oysterdate. The second, oh, and I forgot to kind of mention, is I tried to do this from different price points. So you can spend more money than the Rolex Datejust, you can spend less money than the Rolex Datejust. I really want to make sure that we kind of cover all of our bases. So the second watch, the first watch was the Tudor Prince Oysterdate. The second watch is the Seiko Datejust 5. And I know what you're saying, this feels like a homage from Seiko, kind of copying the Rolex Datejust. I don't think so. I think because it comes with the day and date function, it's its own thing. It also has very similar design elements. So you're still getting that aesthetic from the Rolex Datejust that's infused into that Seiko Datejust 5, but you are going to end up paying a lot less than you would for the Rolex. It's also, Seiko I think is one of the best entry-level watch companies ever. I think coming out of Japan, they produce watches that you can enjoy and will be lifelong runners for sure if you take care of it. So I think this is a great opportunity to spend a lot less money if you're looking for something maybe just to plug a collection, or perhaps you don't want to spend so much money on a watch collection, which is totally understandable because watches at the end of the day are luxuries no matter how much they cost. So the Datejust 5 comes with a day and date function, so you're actually getting an extra complication compared to the Rolex Datejust. Very, very great design, very similar design elements. I still think you can dress this up and dress this down. You can swap out straps, which is something you can do with the Rolex Datejust. So that's my second pick, is the Seiko Datejust 5. My third pick is from a company It's from IWC, it's the Mark XVIII. I really like this watch because I think IWC is, in my opinion, kind of an underrated and not as well known company, but they create some of the best pieces out there. Obviously it has the date function. It's an amazing watch house. IWC has created some beautiful pieces in their Portofino line, their Portuguesa line, their Big Pilots. It's just an overall really great company for you to kind of invest in. I also like the fact that IWCs are extremely legible. A lot of the times when you buy watches, when you look at the dial, it's sometimes difficult to read, but I think IWC as a whole create very legible dials that ultimately allows you to actually use the watch for what its intended purpose is for. So I really like that. I also like the fact that it's good size. The hour and minutes hand are quite thick, so again, super legible and just a beautiful watch. IWC creates some of the most beautiful watches, and I think deserves a little bit more credit than they are getting. You are going to be spending a decent amount of money, so you can kind of compare this with the Rolex Datejust if you are looking to kind of save money. So compare and contrast the two and see which one you prefer, but this is definitely an alternative that I would consider if I was looking to purchase something other than a Rolex Datejust, but have the similar functionality and versatility of the Rolex Datejust. So that's number 3. Number 4, and this is a little bit of a different design, this is the Auris Big Crown Pointer Date. The reason why I chose this was it was a different way of displaying the date. I think a lot of the times you look for a date window, and that's kind of what you compare with the Rolex Datejust, but the Auris Big Pilot Big Crown Pointer Date has a pointer that points to the date, which is located on the outside of the dial. So it's a different way of looking at the date, and I think it's an alternative because you're still getting that functionality of that date function, but it's a little bit more of an interesting way of displaying it. I also like the fact that this comes in a lot of different dial variations. The colors really you can mix and match. You can mix up what your dial color is, which a lot of the times Rolex Datejust seem very kind of muted, very just, you know, simple dials. But I think this is a great watch where you can kind of explore different colors in your dials, but also get that pointer date. Again, Oris is a phenomenal company. They are doing some great things, especially in the most recent years. And this is an example of something that I would definitely consider when comparing, trying to figure out which watch I would like to purchase. I think this is a great alternative to the Rolex Datejust. Number 5 is from a watch company called Nomos. If you aren't familiar with Nomos, this is a great company that has created some very, very simplistic design in their watches, but really packs a punch with what they're making. My number 5 is the Nomos Club Date. The date is actually at 6 o'clock, so it's a little bit different than the Rolex Datejust. Again, I was trying to find ways in which we can kind of, find a different way of displaying the date. So date's at 6 o'clock. Also, it's coming from Nomos, which is really an integral part of their company, is their design as well as their movements. They finish their movements to a very high standard for a company that isn't, charging astronomical amounts. So really great movement, really great design. I also like the fact that it's extremely clean. It's a very, very simply laid out dial. And again, you can probably mix and match straps with this one. I would just put it on a leather strap and enjoy it, because this is a really beautiful watch and one that you should definitely consider. And my last one is from a company that often competes with Rolex, and that is the Omega Aqua Terra. This is obviously a more expensive alternative to the Rolex Datejust, but again, comes with high water resistance similar to the Rolex Datejust. It has a really cool rigid dial, which I like. It's very different than a lot of the other ones, which have just very plain dials, very simply made dials. And then obviously you're going to be getting a Omega coaxial movement, which of course is definitely a strategic advantage against Rolex, or excuse me, not against Rolex, but perhaps some of the other ones that are alternatives to the Rolex Datejust. So I think this is one that you can definitely consider. Again, this is a more expensive option, so you're going to be comparing which one you prefer compared to the Rolex Datejust for sure, but it's something that you should definitely consider. So those are my 6 watches. Just to go over them quickly, just to summarize, the first was the Tudor Prince Oysterdate. The second was the Seiko Datejust 5. The third was the IWC Mark XVIII. The fourth was the Oris Crown Pointer Date. The fifth was the Nomos Club Date, and the 6th was the Omega Aqua Terra. I hope this helped you out, kind of identify a few other alternatives to the Rolex Datejust. This is a watch that I personally absolutely love. I know if you're watching this, you probably absolutely love this watch. So these are some alternatives that you can consider, whether you're looking to spend a little bit less, perhaps diversify your collection compared to the masses. There's a lot of ways that you can, a lot of reasons why you may end up on this video, but I hope this was helpful. Again, if you've made it this far and you haven't already, be sure to smash that like button for us. It really does help us out with the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit the subscribe button. We create videos about watches, so if you are interested in those types of videos, definitely check out our other videos. Check out our Rolex Submariner video, where we discuss alternatives to the Rolex Submariner. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.